Hello guys, and welcome to our today's Fronius webinar. My name is Chris. Hello and welcome. I want to guide you through today's webinar, and this is not a usual webinar with a PowerPoint presentation, but it is a presentation of our newest tool, the Solar.creator, and therefore I quickly want to share my screen with you guys. So I hope you can already see it. I'm here at our homepage of Fronius International, and why is that? Because I quickly want to show you where you can find additional information if you are interested in this topic. Because the Solar.creator is now our new design tool for designing PV systems, big, small, storage systems, whatever you want, all can be designed with this new tool, the Solar.creator. And if you want to know more about it, you can go to our homepage, like here, and maybe you just use the search function here. You type in Solar.creator, and you will come to a posting here where all of the details are explained, all of the necessary things you need to know. And also down below, you can find a link there directly to the Solar.creator. Also, if you're interested to check it out while I'm doing this presentation here, maybe you have a second monitor or you want to check it out afterwards, you can also just go into your browser and type in creator.fronius.com, and then you can check it out directly by yourself. So before I go into detail, I quickly want to mention a few organizational topics as well. So if you are new to our webinars here, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to answer. You have the possibility on the right side of your screen to type in your questions during the webinar, no problem. You just send it through. And I also forgot to mention that the product manager of this tool, of the Solar.creator, Thomas, is with us today, and he's responsible for the chat. So he will directly reply to you with the answer then to your question. So please send your questions in. And another thing, this webinar is also being recorded. So if you maybe have to leave early or you want to show this recording of the webinar also to a colleague of yours, this will be possible because this webinar recording will be sent out to you in the following days. So you can also rewatch it if you want. Yeah, so I think that's all the organizational stuff I have to say. And before we really head on into the tool itself, I also have prepared a small poll. So let me quickly start it. So you should be able to see right now on your screen a question. Do you use or have you used the Fronius Solar configurator already? So it would be really nice for us at Fronius to know, okay, what's your experience with our already existing design tool, the Solar configurator? And yeah, just let us know. You just click directly on your screen if it's a yes or no. And yeah, would be happy to get your invoices here. I will wait another few seconds for everybody to be able to click. And afterwards, I will show you, of course, also the results. It's anonymous, don't worry. You will only see percentages of the votes. So I see already 81% have voted. A few more seconds I will give you. All right. Looks like the majority of the people have voted. I will close now and show you the results. So right now you can see the results. So 52% have voted for yes, I am familiar with this tool, the Solar configurator. I have used it. So really nice to see and hear that. I hope you had good results with this tool, and I'm also looking forward to your feedback, possibly about the new Solar.creator then. And 48% voted for no, I have been using other tools. Okay, so let me quickly close the poll, and now it's time for us to start directly with the presentation as promised, and therefore we now are logged into the Solar.creator. So this is how the landing page of the Solar.creator 1.0 looks like. Sorry, I quickly changed the language for you guys, of course. And on the far right, we can see, okay, this is our login. Currently, this is a test account for us as Fronius employees. So don't worry, if you are logged in, there will be standing your name and your email address. And yeah, here I would be able to log out, for example. And yeah, the first thing that we see when we look at the Solar.creator landing page is, of course, it looks different because it's really project-based rather than quick design. There is no quick design like we've used to with this Fronius Solar configurator, but this is something that we are already working on. Please remember the Solar.creator is currently at its beginning, so there will be a lot of updates and improvements happening in the following months. And yeah, just for you to know, there are huge improvements coming to this tool. Also, for example, there will be an add-on which makes this also very fast and kind of similar to the Fronius Solar configurator, for example. Yeah, and as I mentioned, it's very project-based now, the Solar.creator. And first things first, we can start here with a new project, for example, right next to the import from file. So it would be able for you to export a project that you have done in the Solar.creator and give it to your colleague, and he's then able to import it to his account, for example, if he wants to work on it as well. And down below, we can see a list of all the already done projects. So this is a single customer, so to say. Every single customer project is listed here, and you can categorize it wherever you want, or with the location, customer name, or project name. But more to that later on. What we want to do right now is, of course, to start a new project. So we click on this icon here above, and there is a pop-up window with 3 pages occurring. And one thing that is mandatory is, of course, the project name. Usually this is, of course, the customer name. So in my case, I just say, okay, customer 3. This is my project name for now. I can enter here first and the last name. Probably also an email address. I will just enter my company email here. And yeah, that's it for the first page of those 3. And after we click next, it's asking me for some pre-settings that we can do. So there are 3 pre-settings. Is it a residential, a commercial, or a battery system that we want to do, that we want to configure? So let's assume we have a end customer with a small house, and he's interested in a residential solution, of course, and he's also interested in a battery. So let's select those 2, and we click on next. And last but not least, we see a few format options. So for example, this is the currency, and it's very fast for us to search for euro. Then we just select it, or dollar, whatever you want to add here. Then we also select the unit, metric or imperial, and also the temperature in Celsius or Fahrenheit. So I'm an Austrian person, so I will select those 3. And after we have finished that, we can click on Start. But remember, every setting that you have done here can be changed. If you click here on the 3 dots here above, you can click on Project Settings, and then you can add every setting that we have done now and redo it, or put some additional information in it. So yeah, as we can see, we started now our project, customer 3, and we can see down below it's requiring us to do 7 steps to have this project finished. And the first step would be the location. So the location is really important because there is a lot of things based on the location that you enter here. So just for an example, let's select here, for example, Fronius, our production site here in Austria. I select this one here. You can just enter the location if you know it exactly, or you can also use the map. Let's do that for a second. And there pops up a Google Maps window. You can scroll in and out, you zoom in and out, and you can also drag and drop this marker to the exact position. Let's say that it's this building here. And if we have it at exactly the same position that we want to, we click on accept here, and that's that. The location is positioned. That's the first thing we need to do. And as we can see, we now already have a total irradiance per year calculated. And this number, this value is based on the location that you put in here. So this is why it's really important to select here also the correct location for your project, because it's based on that. And it's based on that by a online map. So it's searching for the nearest point and it's interpolating the correct number. And if you, for example, have a neighbor building of this one here, and you know already, okay, the irradiance is not exactly this value, it's a little bit higher than that, I know that for a fact, then you can increase or you can decrease it by this small knob here. Or you can enter also a value with which you want to drag it up or downwards. But if you are okay with that, with the preset, you just go back to 0% of increase and decrease rate, and that's our number then, our total irradiance per year for this location. Okay, step 2 is done, and at the very bottom we can see here grid parameters. Also, this is based on the location. So for example, if I click on this drop-down menu here, it's selecting me single-phase or three-phase systems. And I can select this one here, also the voltage levels. So in my case, for example, I want to have a three-phase inverter with 400 volt. And this would, for example, change if I would enter a US location, for example, or any other location, any other country where it's only single phase, for example, in the UK, let's say. So this is also connected to the location. Yeah, we would be able to set the displacement power factor here if we would have to set one, and also the feed-in limitation could be entered here in percent or in kilowatt. That's not relevant for me right now. I'm fine with that. And if I'm finished with my settings for the first step, I can click on next. So from location, we jump then to consumption. And in the consumption, the first thing we see is this beautiful curve here in a weekly or in a yearly view. That's what we can select here, in a week or per year. And this is based on the value down below. So first of all, we can select here a load profile, which is best suited for our customer. And if we click on this drag and drop menu, we can see, okay, this is a huge amount of presets that we can choose from. And let's say our customer has from Monday to Friday evening peaks. So he is away working during the day and is not able to use the solar power. But on Saturday and Sunday, he is, of course, at home and he has midday peaks because he's cooking. So let's select this one, and we can already see the schematic here is changing a bit. And then last but not least, we can also do the load. Let's say our customer uses 5,000 kilowatt hours per year. Okay, if we are fine with that, we can click on next. And then we head straight into the PV array. So this is our actual design that we do now on the PV system itself, on the PV generator. And we can see, okay, the first thing we can do is we can rename our PV array 1. So if I can click on that, it means I can enter here, for example, let's call this is the east array. This is the east installation of the customer's roof. And for this system, we want to have, let's say, Kyoto modules. So this is actually the next step. You can select the manufacturer that you want to have here by just entering the name or searching within the database. And then you just select for the module. So as you can see here, I have some favorites in my list. This can be done by entering this star button up on top here. So, but I have chosen now a Kyoto module, and for example, I want a 300 watt module. And if I'm happy with that, and and I know I want to use this often, then I can click again on this favorite list and it will be added to my favorite list again. So very simple step. There is another button on top here. It's this plus symbol. So if you ever stumble across a module which isn't in our list here, you can simply click on this plus button and this will automatically open an email for you, which will be sent to pvdatabase@pvscout.de. And you just send them the datasheet of the module that you want to add to the system, and it will automatically then be available for you within the Solar.creator in the next few weeks then. So this would be one option to integrate a module which is not already in our category, not in our list. Yeah, so I have chosen now the manufacturer, the module. Now it's time to select the number of modules. Let's say we have here in the East installation a total of 16 modules. Let's say we have a module tilt, so the roof angle actually of, let's say 30 degrees. And we have called this a East installation. So the thing we want to do is now to put this to 90 degrees so that it's an East installation. On the right here, we can see different mounting positions. So we can have a roof mounting, a building integrated, or a freestanding system. I think freestanding is self-explanatory. So it's really just at the free field in the middle of the field. It's freestanding. Roof mounting means, okay, there is a gap between the module and the roof, the actual roof. So there is airflow behind the module. And building integrated means the PV module is the roof. So there is no airflow behind the module, which also, of course, is putting some pressure on the module. So there is a little bit of a different voltage level if you're clicking here on building integrated. So in my case, I just select roof mounting. There would be the possibility to change the bifacial power if we would have a module that is bifacial. So in our case, it's not. And then at the far bottom, we can see here, add PV array. So as standard, it's only asking us to do one array. If we want to do more, we can add up to 3 arrays in total. So in my case, I want to add a west installation. So again, we can click here on this little pen and we rename it to west installation. As you can see, the module manufacturer and the module is copied from the top one. It's automatically thinking for you and is thinking about, okay, if you want to use this module on the east side, you probably as well want to use it on the west installation, which is true in our case. And only thing left for us to do is to add the number of modules we want to have. Let's say 12 on the west installation. And we need to enter the module tilt again. 30 degrees, what was it? And as we have a west installation, we changed the module orientation to 270 degrees. Again, we have a roof mounting system, no bifacial power gain, but at the very bottom, we can see here a button that is called Connect With. This button means if I enter this here, if I connect it with East, it means in the following steps, it's searching for me for an inverter who can connect both of the arrays at one inverter. This is then our highest priority when we are searching for the next inverter. If we don't select this, it's not the highest priority for the tool to search for one inverter. It would also select some other installations for me, such as one inverter for East and one inverter for the West installation. So in my case, I want one inverter at best, if it's possible, for my 2 systems here, East and West installation. So then we are fine with that. And we can also see now on top here, we already checked the yearly irradiance by the location that we have entered. We have also put in the consumption, step 2. We've also put in the PV generator size in total here. And now it's time to click on next. And we step forward to the step 4. So now it's time to find the correct inverter for my system. And first thing to do is to set here the target ratio for my inverter. As probably some of you know, we can over-dimension our inverters by 150%. That's working for all of our inverters. So this means on a Gen 24 10 kilowatt device, for example, you would be able to connect up to 15 kV peak without any problem. So this is the reason why this setting is possible here, and it is on standard at 110%. And yeah, if I'm okay with this, I just scroll down and would be able to enter here module temperatures, same as you would remember it from the solar configurator, for example. I would be able to change that here, but I'm fine with that too. And scrolling down a little bit, there appears a gray underlaid box, which is called best selection. And this is now a list of the best selection area of the tool. So this is what the tool is recommending to me to use from. So we have a list of products here, Gen 24 in different sizes. And if I'm not happy with that list, I can scroll down a little bit more. And here is now the full list of all available products for my location, for my presettings. And I can say, okay, I also want to add another one if I'm not happy with that. Or I can say, okay, this one is really too small. I don't want to have this considered at all. I just deselect it. Okay, so next step for me, if I'm fine with some of the best selections, I can click on Start Calculation. So I've not selected an actual inverter right now. This is just a preview, let's say. But if I click on Start Calculation now, it's showing me a list of all the possible configurations that I can do. So now I select what inverter I want to use. And the first priority, the first choice that the tool is giving me is to use a Gen 24 8.0 plus device, because it would fit very well. We would have a power ratio of 105%. It's the best recommendation of the tool. So we would be able to see here the total kilowatt peak. We would see how the different MPP trackers are connected, like one string with 16, one string with 12. And this resembles our east and west installation, like we can see here. This is perfectly fine to me. We would also be able to see the voltage levels here. Also a good thing to have an overview on that. And if I'm not happy with that, I can click on results 2, 3, 4, and 5 and further down below. So this is then not the highest recommendation of the tool, but it would be also possible for me to do that as well. And as we can see, the second result would show me 2 inverters. So one for the east installation, for example, here, and one inverter for the west installation. So different settings, different scenarios can be selected here, but I am already happy with my first choice here with the Gen 24 8 kilowatt device. And we also can see here this small checkbox. So I know I have selected the right one. And then I can click on Next. So this is now the step 5, components. And here is the step where we can add additional devices to our system, to our project. So by a simple click on Add Devices, it opens up a little box and we can say, okay, smart meter would be very nice to have. And also a battery is one of my choices I want to select. So I can click on Add. And for example, if you just select the battery, it automatically shows you have to select a smart meter in order to run the battery as well. So of course, you guys already know that about Fronius. So if you want to use the battery, of course, also the smart meter is mandatory. So yeah, okay, we have these 2 selected and we click on Add. And there opens up another window where we can select the size of the battery. So don't worry, in a few weeks, in a few months, there will be an add-on here, which also gives you a battery size recommendation. So this is currently not inside, so we have to find the correct size ourselves. But as I mentioned, this is a project which is improving every day. So the battery recommendation will be coming soon. And in my case, I say, okay, I'm happy with a 13.8 kilowatt hour battery. of BYD. This is the HVM battery of the premium series of BYD, and I'm happy with that size. That's perfectly fine for me. I would be able to find a few additional informations here on the right-hand side. I would be open to download the datasheet, for example, if I want to know more about that. But that's okay for me. I know the best selection for me currently. And further down below, we also need to select the correct smart meter, which we want to have. And here is a list of all the available ones for my country. And in my case, of course, I want to use the three-phase smart meter TS with 60 amp, 65 amp. And I just have to select the quantities here. So 1 is efficient enough for me at the feed-in point. So I just enter here 1, and that's it. We can click now on next. Yeah, so that's it. We are now at step 6. We are almost done with our configuration. And what's left to do for us is to set a few numbers, a few values. And the first thing would be the electricity cost. So currently you have to enter the cost per month, which the customer is paying. So the electricity bill, more or less. So in my case, I just say, okay, the customer is paying 50 euro cents per month for the electricity, but don't worry, price per kilowatt hour. So in the future, again, this will be an improvement where you can just set the kilowatt price here. So we would be able to enter increase rate in percent here. Also a tax rate could be entered if we want to. So I will just leave that here. Also a yearly or monthly view can be changed here. If we scroll down, we come to feed-in tariff. And for example, we know, so I just enter a feed-in tariff for Austria, for example. We don't have a good one. Don't be surprised. So we are talking about 0.07 euro cents per kilowatt hour of feed-in. That's our currently feed-in tariff, which we can enter here, and also the duration for which this feed-in tariff is valid for. So in my case, I say, okay, I know this feed-in tariff is valid for me for 15 years, and I can scroll down a little bit further to total system cost. And here I can enter what did the customer, or what is the price the customer has to pay for the total system. So in my case, for example, I just enter here, okay, for my system, the customer is paying 9,000 euros, let's say, and I want to calculate the return on investment over the next 30 years. Just a random number I can enter here for the customer to have something to look at also. Yeah, and if you're fine with the numbers, we can click at the bottom here then on next. And now all of our steps are done. And we are at the last step, number 7, the report. So this is now the final view, the final overview, which also can be sent to the customer. I quickly want to guide you through the topics here, what is listed. So of course, on the left-hand side, we can see project name, customer name, location, and so on. Also the installer will be listed here. And then on the right-hand side, we can see general data, like the irradiance, the grid, energy consumption, what we have entered, and also things like the power. So like there is also a yearly yield. So a forecast is also done by our tool here to show exactly the customer, okay, you can expect about 8,900 kilowatt hours to earn per year, to have per year. Of course, the kilowatt peak is set. We are able to see here self-consumption and self-sufficiency values, and also some profitability values can be seen here. Also very nice to see for the customer. So this is something we haven't had previously with the Solar Configurator, and now it's in there visible for the customer. Coming a little bit further down below, we can see an energy flow chart, and it's looking kind of similar to a visualization on SolarWeb that we have. So with the bubble charts, for example, and this is also a nice overview for the customer where he can see, okay, how much energy is distributed to what device to what component. So for example, the storage system, also the production rate is listed here, power to grid, how much do we feed in, what can we expect from this. And also further down below, we can see a yearly overview of energy consumption in blue and energy production in yellow. So also very nice to see for the customer, okay, what can I expect to get out from the system here? Yeah, going further down below as well, we come to the PV arrays. So that's also what we have selected here. We can see exactly what we have entered previously. We can see all the data like yearly irradiance grid modules, what we have chosen. Also the per installation, so per array. Here is the east installation, here would be the west installation. And also the total amount of modules would be listed here. So it gives us a really nice overview. Coming further down, we see the inverter with the AC output power and a small description that also full backup would be possible with this device. And yeah, there would be also a data sheet and some other technical details which we can look up here. And last but not least, there is also a battery description with the size that we've chosen and the smart meter that we've chosen. And yeah, so that's it actually for our report. That's our work done, let's say. If we are finished right now, we are able to send the report. So this is the bottom button here, send report, and we would be able to send this, for example, to our customer. So in my case, I send it to myself here, and yeah, I can click here on next after I entered the email address. I would also be able to change the language if we want to. So this is a very nice feature as well. So for example, imagine you have a customer who is speaking your language, but he's much better speaking another language. So in my case, for example, I can do this installation in German, but my customer speaks a little bit better English. So I just change the language from German to English or vice versa, whatever language I want. And the report is then automatically translated in this language. And this is then sent out to the customer. So a very nice feature, in my opinion, for a really nice usability. So yeah, let's just leave it on English here right now. I can click on next. And yeah, this is then the customer that we want to send this to, and we can click on send. And now I will get an email from myself with this product, with this information. So, and what I will find in this email is exactly this list here, this report. So I will get an overview of all the necessary details. Yeah, so that's it. Now we can jump back into our start landing page, let's call it. And this is very easily done by clicking on the Solar.creator symbol on top here. So then we are back in the main menu. And if we select now our system's date of creation, so we would be able to see now our previously done system here. This would be customer number 3. And as I said, we can position them, we can rename them here if we want to. And we also see when was it last saved. We also can see here in this column here, it's already been sent once. So this is also a notification which is very important. I can already see, okay, this has already been sent out to the customer once at this date, at this time. And if I want to, I can resend it to another person, for example. So there is a small link here again, send report, and then I can send it to a colleague of mine who is doing the installation, for example, or whoever needs to be whoever this needs to be sent out to. So this would be able to do here. It's a nice overview as well. There is also the possibility to add nodes to a project. So for example, we can click on the 3 dots here on a project and say add node. And this is just for you as designer, as project designer, let's say, that you can enter here a small note. So you can write down here project is in review, customer feedback is awaited, something like this. And after you send out the report, this is not shown whatsoever. So this is really just for you to be able to see, and also a nice and handy tool to keep a clean desk here. So this would be the add note. And then you can also give a status to your project. So again, we click on the three dots and we can say, okay, status can be none, accepted or rejected. And this is also for you to be able to have a good overview of what's going on with your projects, because accepted project could be, for example, that you know, okay, accepted means that it's already been installed, or rejected means, okay, the feedback of the customer wasn't so good, we have to change something, it's too big, he needs a bigger inverter, whatsoever. So you can set here a status whatsoever. And yeah, so let us click here just on none. And yeah, in general, we would be able to duplicate the project if we want to. If we have the neighbor building, which is exactly the same size, we would be just able to duplicate it. And the last thing that I want to show to you is the export project possibility. So you would be able to save the project as its own file. And as I've mentioned, you can then give this to your colleague, for example, and he's then able to import and upload it to his account, and then he can work on it as well. So this would be one way to share the project, for example, with your co-colleagues. Okay, so yeah, that's it for my showcase right now. So I would suggest I quickly open the question sector. Maybe I can answer a few of the questions already. I see there are loads of questions coming in, and I already see a load of them are being answered. Okay, I see all of the questions have been answered so far. So there is, for example, the question, do you plan to support also the Russian language? Thomas has already answered that. So we will start with the current 12 languages that are available. And so if there is enough customer response that the Russian language is asked for, is wished for, then of course we will implement that as well. But as I mentioned, so we are at the beginning of our launching of our tool. This is just the first phase. And yeah, so there are loads of improvements coming up, and possibly also another language will be one of them. Okay. So there is one really good question, for example, if we exceed the inverter capacity, so if it's the voltage or the current, will it still show you a result? So this is really a good thing, and this is one thing which our tool does. So if you exceed the limits, doesn't matter if it's the current or the voltage on the PV generator, it automatically won't show you the systems above that. So it really will just show you systems which you can design and which are within warranty. So this is also something which we can recommend to you. If you use the Solar.creator tool, you are on the safe side. You have a warranty, or let's say a valid project, and you know, okay, this is checked by Fronius, and I know this is correct and able for me to install. So yes, it's watching out for the capacity of the inverters. Okay, so a few questions are still coming in, but I think majority of them are already answered. So yeah, guys, I want to thank you at this point very much for joining today. I hope it was interesting. Leave me a comment what you think about it, if you think it's good, and also please check it out. Of course, nothing is better than to check it out by yourself. You already know how to do that. Just enter creator.fronius.com. And yeah, so in this case, I wish you good luck for your first installations, for your first project with our tool. And if you have questions, just contact us or turn into our next webinar that we have, or our next training. And until then, have a nice day and stay healthy, guys. Okay, bye-bye.